Okay, many of you made an attempt to answer these questions when you first received this Bell Worksheet 8.8a. This one's marked Unit 6 Bell Work number 1 because you're going to do several of these just for notes. So that kind of gives you a way to keep track of which one I'm talking about. So this one's Unit 6 Bell Work number 1. You got the blank copy, but I would encourage you to go back and fill in or add to your answers so that you have something to go by and study. So number 1 asks, which galaxy do we live in? Hopefully you know this by now, but we live in a galaxy known as the Milky Way, and the Milky Way galaxy is actually a spiral galaxy. Okay, there are different types of galaxies, which we'll get to in a minute, but ours, the Milky Way, happens to be a spiral. Approximately where are we in that galaxy? Well, we're not in the very, very middle, so we're not in the center, but we're also not way out on the edge. We're kind of in between. So we're about halfway between the center and the edge. We're actually about 25,000 light years from the center of the galaxy. And we are located in one of the spiral arms, our solar system. So that's the sun and all of the planets around it. Our solar system is located in one of the spiral arms, known as the Orion arm. And they have different names just corresponding kind of to like which direction in the sky are you looking off in to be in that general direction. So we're in the spiral arm, Orion. Okay. All right, let's go to the next question. The universe is basically everything. All space, all time, all matter, and all energy. Describe the basic structure of the universe. Well, things in the universe are really far apart. Like really, really far apart. Okay? And there's a whole lot of nothingness in space. So the structure of the universe is basically a whole bunch of nothingness, empty space, otherwise known as voids, areas of emptiness. And then most of the matter in the universe is clustered into galaxies and galaxy clusters. And between the galaxies and galaxy clusters, you have a whole lot of empty space. Okay? And things are really spread out. It's really sort of difficult for a lot of people to get their mind wrapped around just how spread out things are, and I probably would be one of those people. Okay? But the structure of the universe, you basically have two things. You've got bunch of empty space, and then the matter that is in the universe is typically clustered in galaxies and galaxy clusters. A galaxy cluster is just a collection of galaxies that are relatively close to each other. All right. What is a galaxy made of? All right, well, we've just said that all of the matter in the universe is clustered or clumped into galaxies, and so that's going to be millions or billions of stars, some gas and dust, which would make up our nebulas. And all of those things are held together by gravity. So basically, here's your galaxy ingredients. A bunch of stars, some gas and dust, but all of those ingredients are held together by the force of gravity. And just feel free to pause this anytime you need to so that you can write in what we're doing. All right. So what are nebulas? They touched on this in Lesson 1. Nebula, if I remember correctly, is the Latin word for cloud. So a nebula is basically a cloud. It's a cloud of gas and dust in space. Particularly your emission or your star-forming nebulas, particularly emission, reflection, and dark nebulas, usually the cloud of gas and dust is mostly hydrogen because that's the lightest element. And eventually, those nebulas sort of kind of start to collapse over time under their own gravity, because even the gas and dust has mass, and any mass has gravitational attraction towards itself. So the gas and dust collapse over time, eventually forming stars when you've got enough mass collapsed together, which is a lot. So anyway, you've got basically two types of clouds, two types of nebulas. You have nebulas that form stars, such as emission, reflection, and dark nebulas. There are pictures of each type of those in your textbook. I think they gave you a picture of the Orion Nebula for your emission nebula. They gave you kind of the blue fuzziness around the Pleiades. That blue fuzziness is a reflection nebula, actually forming the stars that are also in the picture. And they gave you the Horsehead Nebula as an example of a dark nebula. And dark nebula just, it kind of means that it's silhouetted, okay? It's lit from behind. So it looks more like a shadow. So those are your types of, there we go. Those are your types of star-forming nebulas. And then you have clouds or nebulas that result from a star ending its life. So I'm just going to call those star-destroying or star destroyer nebulas. I mean, I guess I'm just, a Star Wars person maybe. But those end a star's life. And there are two varieties: planetary nebulas and supernova or supernova remnants. Okay? Which one a star will wind up doing is going to depend on a star's mass. Our sun is a relatively small mass star, and our sun is going to wind up forming a planetary nebula in, 4 or so billion years, is what scientists think. But more massive stars basically blow themselves up, and the big cloud of dust and gas that's left over after that explosion is called a supernova remnant. All right. So two types of nebulas. Remember, nebula is just a fancy word for cloud. You've got nebulas that form stars, nebulas that form at the end of a star's life. So star forming, star destroying, or star ending. Okay. All right, and then how many stars are in our solar system? Solar means sun, our sun system. There's only one star in our solar system, and that is the sun. Everything else in our solar system is either planets or moons or asteroids or comets, things like that. There is only one star in our solar system. I promise I'm going to ask you that because people get that confused. How many stars are in our galaxy? Remember, our galaxy is the Milky Way galaxy, and galaxies can have millions or even billions of stars. So our sun, so our solar system, is just one of billions of stars in the Milky Way. Okay, but it's special to us because it's by far our closest star, and we orbit the sun gravitationally along with the rest of the planets. All right, so just make sure that you have this filled in, and I would highly recommend that you store that in your binder under notes because you will need this information later.